is Kiara Morrow, and I am at Four Oaks Bridge interviewing Miss
Lileah
Harris on March 24th, 2010. Are you from Cedar Rapids?
No, but my mother lived here for a while and went to the really old Washington High School. No, I'm from Waterloo.
When did you move to Cedar Rapids?
My husband came here after he graduated from medical school, and he interned at St. Luke's. And we liked it and wanted to be near my mother, who was still living in Waterloo, because she'd lost my dad had died and she was alone. So it turned out to be a good decision.
Where did you go to school?
I started out at a school in Waterloo called Grant School, which has now been transformed into a magnet school in Waterloo. I went to East Junior High, East High School, and my first 2 years of college were at what used to be called Iowa State Teachers College. It's UNI now. And after 2 years of college, my husband persuaded me that we should get married. And so college ended for quite a while, but there's a story. I did finish college, but much later.
What is your happiest memory as a young person?
Oh, well, there are lots of them. We had a pretty close family, and my sister, that's just a little older than I, and I liked to do a lot of outdoor stuff, just hiking and that kind of thing. But I was studying piano pretty seriously growing up, so that took a lot of my time. I liked being with my friends, of course. I'm not giving you a very good answer, but I had a lot of things to do. I was pretty busy.
Where were the challenges you faced as a young person?
Well, of course, we grew up in a world that was full of segregation, no matter where you lived, if you were African American. My dad was a doctor in Waterloo, and but he had patients of both races. He had lots of white patients. But there were a lot of things we couldn't do growing up in Iowa. So I don't know if you even want to hear that. There was a lot of discrimination. I'd walk to junior high, you'd go past East High, but there was a place called Klondike's that would not let you eat ice cream in there. And I knew that you could file a civil rights case. Iowa has a law, and people didn't take advantage of it then, but I was in junior high, and I went up to their office and filed a case against the ice cream place. Nothing came of it, but I thought I'd done something. Movies, you could go to movies, but they generally would try to direct black kids to sit in the balcony, not sit on the main floor. And again, my parents said, don't sit in the balcony. We were kind of drilled to think living that way. My dad was president of the NAACP for a while, and let me think of restaurants were pretty much all closed then. A big problem was traveling if you were trying to take a trip, because there were not hotels or motels. You either had to stay with friends or, that was true even when my kids were growing up. And my husband, my husband went to Howard University in Washington, D.C., and we would drive back to Iowa, and sometimes he would just pull over on the side of the road to take a nap, which is not a very safe thing to do. But, and our social lives were different. Grant School was mixed racially, and I had several kids who were white who were good friends of mine. We walked back and forth to school together and so on. But as soon as you hit junior high, it changed, because they were the social thing. They had their different friends, and and the kids started dating and that sort of thing. So, in fact, when I graduated from East High, the principal called in two of my, I had two really good buddies who were black, and they were athletes and very popular. But occasionally they had danced with white girls at school parties, and the principal called them in and told them they were not to do that at the prom. The prom was going to be at the electric, what is it called? Electric Park Ballroom in Waterloo. It's still there. And I called my friend who was the student council president, Tootie Frericks. He became a lawyer later. He was actually he's white. He became a civil rights lawyer. And I said, let's go talk to Mr. Hoffman. This is ridiculous. And so we asked why he was telling them that, and he said he wouldn't really tell us, and he just said, Lileah, you can always behave as you always do. I was a good student. I was considered pretty top, the top of the top of the bunch, I guess. But and it was ironic because my father ate with Mr. the principal. I can't think of his name. I just said it and forgot it. Hoffman. He ate with him at one of the clubs there downtown, and it's just so ridiculous, a lot of things. But I don't like to talk about it too much because I almost feel like crying when I think about it. But we were shut out of a lot of stuff, and I'm sure there's still stuff going on. I spoke over at Jefferson quite a few years, maybe 10 years ago, to high school kids, and they said, why did you put up with all that? Why didn't you fight it, And so, but it was a different time.